Hi all. Let's discuss seating assignments. Our guest tables are designed to sit 6 to 8 comfortably. We have the seating chart displays. For example, we have a window frame. We have a board with some twine and clips. We have a mirror that you could do a double-sided tape to stick on cards that you provide. Cards that are cardstock, and I'll tell you the size depending on which display you select. You can also bring your own seating chart. But basically, 6 to 8 per table. So table 1 and the 6 people sitting there, table 2 and the 7 people sitting there, table 3 and the 8 people sitting there, however you'd like. 30 days before your wedding, we're going to figure out exactly how many tables you need based on your final guest count. That is when your guest count is due, is 30 days beforehand. And I'll create a customized layout for you, and it'll depict exactly where all those tables are going to be placed in the barn, and I'll send you a diagram. So at that point, you can begin assigning your guest to their tables. I won't need the list of how many seats we need per table until about a week before the wedding. As much as we hate to think that people who RSVP are going to last minute cancel out, or those who say, oh, I'm RSVPing as a solo, and then they decide to bring a plus one, more times than not, between the 30 days and a week before the wedding, the count will change. So don't stress yourself out about assigning these guests to tables off the bat, making a whole bunch of cards, because chances are you may have to redo it closer to the wedding date. So you bring the cards and we paste them up. If you want to do an open seating plan, instead of assigning guests to tables, just kind of random, people can sit wherever they want, that is totally fine. We will add an additional table just to cover human tendency, that is, if they don't have an assigned seat, people are always going to leave one spot open, technically. So we like to have just an additional table to have extra seats, just to cover our bases and make sure that everybody's got a spot. If you're doing an open seating plan, you probably would like to reserve a couple tables up front. This could be for immediate family members. It could be for your bridal party. You can tell me how many tables you'd like reserved. Please notify the guests who are supposed to sit at those reserved tables, because if they come up to us, as staff, and say, am I supposed to sit at a reserved table? We're not going to know who that individual is. So please, if you have tables reserved for certain family members or bridal party members, let them know that they're supposed to sit at one of the reserved tables. Sorry about that, folks. We are in the middle of a wedding right now, and the guests were starting to enter the barn, and it was getting a little bit loud in my office. So change of scenery here. I'm going to pick up where I left off and just do this video in 2 parts. One thing I forgot to mention was, if you have a guest count of maybe 125, 150 and up, instead of making the cards by table 1, table 2, I recommend doing cards by guest last name in alphabetical order. Can you imagine being one of the 150 people at this wedding and looking at all 20 tables trying to find which card has my name on it out of all these 20 cards? Versus if it's in alphabetical order, all the guests with last name starting A, all the guests with last name starting B. I know my name is Teresa Lacklade. I'm going to look under the L card. Boom, I'm at table 12. It's just easier for your guests to find their seats, and you don't have a whole cluster of people gathered around the seating chart for an hour. All right. If you are serving a seated dinner, most of our couples do choose the buffet dinner. But if you're upgrading to a seated dinner, you will not only want to assign guests to tables, you'll need to assign them to seats as well. So each seat is going to have an escort card with the guest's name on it and the meal that they selected. So when you're doing this, seat 1 is going to be the one with their back to the bar, facing directly to the sweetheart table or the head table. At every single table, chair 1 is going to be the one facing straight on the lake. And then we go around the table clockwise. Seat 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if you have it, or 8 at each table. Now this is vital if you're doing a plated dinner. If you want to do escort cards for a buffet dinner, personally I think it's overkill. Like I always say, if middle schoolers can figure out where they're seated in a cafeteria. I think adults at a wedding can figure out which chair out of 8 for a table that they should sit at. If there's 8 seats and 4 couples, then they're going to sit there. That person in their day is going to sit next to the next couple. So, but you're welcome to do whatever you'd like. All right. So, if you are making escort cards, it has to be stacked. Each table needs to be packaged separately. So, all of table 1 in a Ziploc bag or an envelope. All of table 2 in a separate Ziploc bag or envelope. And each, when you take out the pile, the stack is going to have seat 1 through seat 8. Seat 1 at the top, seat 6, 7, or 8, whatever the last chair is at that table, on the bottom. So my staff can literally just pull out the pile and place chair 1 and boom, 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 walk around the table placing cards and not have to refer to a diagram for every single table. Just pull out the stack and already walk around the clock. All right, so that is seating assignments. If you have questions, leave them in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks.